Welcome back. At the New Year seminar on February 7th, our presenter was Les Thorne from No Turning Back in the UK. Throughout the day, Les showcased 3 projects. In this third video, Les demonstrates a technique for determining bowl thickness.
Half an hour, 40 minutes. Right, let's have a go at something. Let's have a couple of, let's have a bit of fun. Try and see this before. I'm going to show you the ultimate way to go wall thickness. How often do you go through the bottom of your bowl?
Every time.
Every time. You know, it's a difficult thing to do, to get that idea of wall thickness. So I'm going to show you the absolute foolproof way of judging wall thickness. Now you're interested, aren't you? Now I've kept you awake. Now, if you've seen this before, you are not allowed to say anything yet, because it ruins the surprise. Okay? So, I've got an old bowl, this is an old demonstration. This is when I used to be artistic. This is one of the demonstrations I used to do. I actually did this demonstration at a seminar all those years ago. Okay, it's my beaded bowl. So I'm going to return this into a thin bowl, and I'm going to save your life, some of you, because I'm going to show you the best way of never going through or judging the wall thickness of our bowl. So turning thin is something I love doing, because I don't really do it in my job, okay, until about the last 6 years. Because in England, there's quite a few designers who got a bit obsessed about wooden lampshades. Okay? Now, turning thin for a job is different than turning thin for fun. Because suddenly, you feel like you shouldn't be pushing it, because if you break it, you don't get paid. It's a completely different mindset. So when I'm turning lampshades, I don't enjoy it as much as I do when I'm turning thin for fun. It's funny that, isn't it? Because I feel like if I break it, I've lost money. So now I'm turning thin. So that's a little bit oval. Okay. So first things first, we're going to get it on there. We're not going to do any sanding, we're not doing any polishing like that. We are just going to turn a thin bowl, and I'm going to show you how to judge that wall thickness absolutely perfectly. So I'm just going to make sure that's over there like that. I'm going to come in there, get it on the chuck. There's my spigot. Nice piece of olive ash, this.
Can you change your camera angle?
So I'm just going to put a shape on the outside, one that I can follow nicely on the inside. I'm not going to talk too much about the bowl turning technique, unless somebody has an answer. I saw a question that I can answer by showing them. So, nice simple shape. Okay, now, when you want to turn thin, if you want to learn how to turn thin, the first thing you need to do is turn simple shapes. You need a shape that you can replicate quite easy. Don't do a squiggly shape, because you'll find it quite difficult. Even though this is an absolute foolproof way of judging the wall thickness, or determining the wall thickness. So there's our spigot. I'm just doing a little pull cut there, because it's being jammed in between centres, of course. I can't quite get a pull cut all the way around there. I've got a little bit of Thorne outline. I will try and make a cut around there as I go. Okay, I can't quite get the pull cut in the right place. We'll go to a see how low the handle is as I come round. Keep that bevel in contact. We're slowing round. Into our cut. Now, turning thin, wet wood's easier than dry wood. Okay, and I'm going to demonstrate that to you on this perfectly left piece of paper. And what it says? It says FBI wanted poster. Doesn't look anything like you. Right, so think about why wet wood's easier to turn thin than dry wood. Flexibility. Paper is made of wood. It used to be. It's made of paper now, which makes sense, but originally it was made of wood. So this is actually quite strong, isn't it? So if I've got if I've got my tool, my bevel on my tool like this, okay, and I'm against the wood, it's actually quite flexible, isn't it? And I can put quite a lot of pressure on that bevel without going through, because the wood is flexing. Okay? If this was solid, hard, this would go through much easier. Okay? Also, if I shove it through, it's going to go through easier. So turning thin is actually easy if you get on that bevel and you work it through. Now, one thing that doesn't work very well when you start to turn thin is scraping. And the reason for that is a scrape doesn't do an intermittent cut very well. So as soon as this starts to move, as soon as it goes wobbly, if you go in with a scraper, the wood's going to come around, you're going to hit a high point and break it. Okay? So this is that time, we're going to go thin. Being dry wood, it will put a vibration into it. That vibration we're trying to minimise, and what we're trying to do is we're trying to keep that vibration down to a 120 grit vibration. Now, do you understand what I mean by that? It's a vibration mark that we can get rid of with 120 grit. If we can keep it to that, that's easy. Don't try and stop the vibration. If you've got don't go in there with a scraper, because they say if you've got ridges in there, go, because you're going to blow it to bits. And the one of the things about when you break a bowl with a scraper is it generally explodes. Okay? Rather than just breaks. It's much more dramatic. Now, I know you're going to like that, aren't you? If I just... It's funny, actually, one of his mates came up to me at lunchtime and he said, you know, stop picking on him, he's only little. Do you know? Another 6 of his mates came up to me and said, keep picking on him. We're really enjoying it. So you know who your mates are, don't you? So we're going to turn this round now. We're going to turn this round grip onto it. We're still quite thick. And now we're going to start turning it. So the wall thickness at the moment, I'm judging it with my fingers. Yeah, it's pretty good. Happy with that. It would be, you know, it'll be a nice sort of 1/4 inch, and I'm going to go thin. I'm going to go try and go as thin as possible. And then, of course, I'm going to show you the default, most amazing way of judging the wall thickness. Now, I'm a bit thin down the bottom to do this, so I'm going to get a vibration straight away. So I'm expecting that. And because I'm expecting that, what I'm going to do, as soon as I know my chucking point's okay, I will start supporting the work with my fingers. So it's running out slightly, which isn't ideal, because it means it's going to come out slightly wobbly. But I am going to round over this top edge. Okay, I'm going to round over that top edge because in a minute I'm going to come in, I'm going to support the work with my fingers like this. And if I'm doing that, the last thing I want is a sharp edge on that top, because that can end up cutting that piece of wood there. I haven't quite got rid of these yet. So we're just rounding that over. Then we're going to get rid of the tailstock. Stay there. And now we're going to start to go inside the piece. I'm going to keep the torus across the outside to begin with. You notice that I keep the torus across the outside there the whole time. I hope you noticed that earlier on when I was doing the bowl. That's because as a spindle turner, if I was doing a cove, I wouldn't put the tool rest inside, would I? So once again, it's that crossover. It's what you learn to do, what you're working with as we go. Is it gone dark in here or something? Okay. So if you're going to turn dry wood thin, you have to learn to support the work with your fingers. Once again, like doing that thin yaw, if you're not willing to do this, don't turn thin. Okay? Because you'll break too many, it'll be too frustrating. Now doing this is, once again, it's that risk reward. Yes, it's dangerous. It's dangerous because you're on the wood there, of course it's dangerous. But if I want to turn thin, it's my means to an end. Okay? But I want to minimise that. So what I don't want to do is put my whole hand here like this. Okay? I put my fingers there. I've kept as much of it out of the way as possible. I don't want to put my fingers here. I'm over here somewhere to give me a chance to get out of the way. Okay? And now what we're going to do, we're going to go in there with a 1/4 inch gouge. And we're going to start taking it down. Now, my initial sizing, my initial sizing will be done with the finger calipers. Okay? So that's how I'm doing it initially. And they work really well, the finger calipers. So we're now going thin, and that's quite thin. So that's probably enough to impress your neighbour. Okay, so you think, well, that's actually quite clever. That's about 6 mil, 1/4 inch. A bit under that, probably 5 mil. So that's better. But we're going to push it a bit more. Now here it's starting to sing at me, but actually I can't feel any vibration mark in there. But if I can't feel the vibration mark, that's a 240 grit ridge. Especially on ash, because ash sands quite nicely. You know, you can sand yourself out of shit a little bit with ash. This is a piece of walnut, you'd struggle more because walnut doesn't sound as nice. It's a piece of oak, you'd struggle more because oak plants abrasive quite quickly. So what we're going to do now, we're going to go in there now, we're going to start to go left and right. So we're going in there. We're now starting to go thin. So I heard somebody say earlier on about, oh, Les was going to judge this wall thickness by drilling holes in it. Okay? That's a perfectly valid thing to drill holes in it. If I was going to pierce this, you know, I was going to make a Margaret Garrard or a Joey Richardson, of course, I'll drill holes in it first because that would give me the ability to judge the wall thickness as I'm going down. But I'm not going to do that. I've got a much better way of doing it. You can't wait, can you? I can feel the tension. You stand here if you want to feel the tension, come feel this tension. What I'm doing now, right, so that's my limit. Okay, that's my limit on my diameter. So my limit on my thickness, my limit on my thickness is that 2.5 to 3 mil. Okay? So that's absolutely fine, we can work with that. So now what we need to do, we need to make the rest of the bowl that thickness. Okay? There's me trying to push it one more time. Because I wanted 2 mil. I want 2 mil. You want 2 mil, don't you? Well, you want 1 mil. No, you're not. It is running slightly out, to be fair. Yeah, it's about 1 mil there, okay? Right. Now I need to continue that curve all the way down there. So light pressure to my left hand. Now I could use if it was end grain and a white wood, I could use light. So that would be, that's what, who was expecting me to use light? Yeah, see a few of you expect me to use light, because that's what I've done before and stuff like this, but I've got a better way of doing it than that now. Okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to go in there now, I'm going to go to the 60-degree gouge and I'm going to take away this bolt out of the way. Okay, I'm still using the finger gauge, sorry. Okay, now I can feel it now, it's not too bad there, but then it starts to thicken up. So we're going to carry on down that curve. Carry on down that curve. And then I'll talk to you about how I'm doing it. But one of the things I'm trying, that light is awful. I keep thinking I can see through the bowl. Right, so I'm okay to about there, and then it thickens up a little bit. So we'll keep working on down. Now I'm going to put a torus inside the piece now a little bit. Okay, I've got a little bit of a mark on that edge. I'm just going to kiss with a piece of abrasive, just to take the aris off it, take the sharpness off it, just in case it comes around. It's quite interesting because this red light makes it look like I can see light through the bowl. So it's very slippery. Just pull that down. Take that down. Okay, so we're going to go in there now, once again with the 1/4 inch gouge, and we're going to carry that curve round. So I'll work out where I think it's going to fit, and I'm going to work it round. And as I go round, you see that I'm resting the handle of this tool on my forearm as I go into that. That just helps to stop against any of this movement downwards. I've gone through it. Shit.
Yes.
Are you happy now?
I'm a bit late.
You see the light inside. I'm going to blame the light. If you see that, it just looks red inside. I can't judge it. That's fine.
Sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. That's fine. We'll get over that. Because luckily, because it wasn't on there properly, we can go in there. And that's the first one I've broken for about 3 or 4 years, which has made one person in the audience happy. I can still. Oh, thank you.
Sorry. Just to dare say.
Where's the hidden camera? Blimey. Around the deck can I come out in a minute? I don't want it there.
You want your side? Sorry.
That's all right. Right, so I'm going to try and get there because I can still show you how I would judge the wall thickness. Remember, I've got a 4-place way of measuring this wall thickness. That's not a fault, it's a feature. Even I struggle to market that one. Right. Am I going to get up there? Oh, that's stupid. Don't do that. Now I've got a ridge in there that I can't pick up the cut because that's too thin there to pick the cut up there, you see? And the only thing that's holding that still on there is the fact it's thicker this side than it is that side because it's running out. So that sort of saved my life a little bit. Okay? But we are quite thick when we get down there. So let's go down there, let's make another. So we've sort of followed that into the foot to the point where I've got a hole there now, so that's fine, where I put that centre mark. And now I'm going to show you this fitted weight. And we are going to use, you know, people talk about the multi-purpose tool. One other person asked me and said, what can it do? Okay, I can judge the wall thickness of this piece by using the multi-purpose tool. So my multi-purpose tool, if I can find it, my multi-purpose tool, it's that time of the day everything's disappeared. It's gone. See that, it's in a metal handle. It's not that one, it's not that one, it's not that one, not that one. That's a bit spooky. On the lathe? No? Did I take it out of took it out of the handle? Right. So how can I use the multi-purpose tool to measure this wall thickness? So this is the 10mm multi-purpose. Actually the bigger one will work equally as well. Right? So how can I use this to measure it? Quite simply. There you go. Now you can tell the wall thickness. That's a definitive way of telling your wall thickness. Good, that, isn't it? It's a really good way of measuring it. It has one downside though. Sticking it together again. So it's that idea of just working like that. You see what I mean? It's one of those sort of fun things through there. I used a bowl that I'd already turned already. That's why I wasn't particularly bothered about going through it. But it's a good exercise for me because it shows me how good I can do by eye. Because obviously normally I wouldn't be breaking it. And when you get that thin, even with a good set of figure 8 calipers or a good set of wall thickness measuring calipers, when you get to that 1 or 2 millimeters, they don't become as accurate as you want them to be. So it's that feel thing. And actually, as somebody said to me, Bert Marsh would have said years ago, your customers don't have calipers. So if it feels right, it looks right, it is right. In that basis. So generally, I leave them a little bit thicker in the bottom. Okay? I used to be able to do unpolitically correct jokes at that point about some girls I knew, but you're not allowed to do that anymore because I'd ruin my career, wouldn't I? So basically, a little bit thicker in the bottom just gives them that little bit of gravitas as we work down there. Right. 2 things to show you now. How are we on time?
5 minutes.
5-10 minutes? Perfect.
Don't be too quick.
You're coming back? Okay. Right, I'm going to show you, only because I was asked about this, and I quite often get asked about this, and actually I'll do it on this jam chart, because I was going to do it on that piece of wood there. I was going to do it on this jam chart. And that's the other way of hollowing. Okay? So the other way of hollowing end grain. Okay, so imagine you're going to make an egg cut with this. I'm going to show you this and then we'll just do a very quick bit of spindle work and then we're done. So, spindle guard, first one spindle guard, there we go. So I showed you the hollowing technique, what I would call the back cutting technique. Where we go in the centre like that and we pull out and we keep it like that. It's a really effective way of hollowing. It's with the grain. No, sorry, it's with the grain, but it's scraping. And because it's scraping, if I make a really, really big cut, because it's scraping, I end up with a poor finish. Okay? And to get that finish better, especially a piece of pine like this, I need to then make the cuts lighter and lighter. And being end grain, I might need to even go on to a scraper type tool and do a little shear scrape just to please this young man over there. He likes a bit of it, and I can do a little shear scrape in there to do that. So I'm cutting with the grain, and therefore now I've got a good finish. Now the reason that's a scrape is because my bevel's not in contact. But I can get my bevel in contact by doing a back cut. Now some of you, those of you who've been around for a while, you've probably seen this back cut. Now the thing about doing the back cut is yes, you can get the bevel in contact. Yes, it's a bit quicker. Yes, it will give you a better finish. Problem, it's incredibly difficult to learn how to do. To the point where don't. Okay? Because that will hold you in good stead. That way of hollowing will hold you in good stead. Because generally, when you're making boxes, you're making them out of quite hard, dense woods. Okay? You're not making them out of pine, you're not making them out of Douglas fir, which is the demo that I didn't do today, which is this one. This is my demo about how to make wood, how to make a box out of a piece of wood that you wouldn't normally make a box from. Okay? Piece of cedar of Lebanon. There you go. Smells like my dad in 1970. Those of you who've been around a while remember the cedar wood aftershave. That one there. Well, it smells like my nan's knicker drawer. Not as I know what my nan's knicker drawer smells like, of course, but basically that one. So we can go in there now and we can do the back cut. So pay attention, those of you who haven't seen this before. The back cut is I go into the centre here and then I run over the top like that. Into the centre there and I run over the top like that. Into the centre there. Right, so that was me running over the centre. You see, even me, I don't use this cut very often. I'm running over, and that's the back cut. And that'll give us a good finish, because that's a bevel rubbing cut, apart from the big gouge I just took out there. Let's go there. Because now when I'm working like that, the bevel is in contact. Okay. So it's a very effective cut, but incredibly difficult to learn how to do. Actually, it's not giving me a very good finish with it, interesting enough. Now, people say, well, why do you show people that? Well, the ultimate thing is, people used to go to me, I used to do that cut, and they go, oh, I've seen Richard Raffin do that cut, and I can do it. I just don't choose to do it because it's too difficult. Then I can't see what I'm doing, sir.
We can't either.
Well, that's good.
Why?
So long as you can see what I'm doing, it's fine.
You don't want to see your own.
Do you know what a definition of a fun guy is, don't you? Keep him in the dark and feed him on shit. And someone once said, Les, you're such a fun guy. I can do it without it. I can do it. Right. I'm going to take that off. I'm bored with that now. So that's that back cut, but it's incredibly difficult to learn to do and not forgiving. It's a bit like the ring tool. Okay? Now, someone says to me, what's the advantage of a ring tool? I say, it hangs on a nail really well. It does, doesn't it? And believe me, a lot of you will buy one and hang it on a nail because it's an incredibly difficult tool to learn to use. Not to use, once you learn how to use it, it's actually an amazing tool. But you're going to frighten yourself to death on that journey. It's a real mission to learn how to do it. The rewards are there, but do you really want to go that far down the line? Do you see what I mean?
Easy street.
It's what?
Easy street.
It's just sometimes not working. Right, here we go. Bit of pine between centres, and a lot of demonstrators, a lot of spindle demonstrators will do this bit first. I'm going to do this bit at the end. It's more fun to do it at the end. So if you have any spindle turning questions, you can come up with them now. I'm now going to do my job. Okay, so this is my practice for Monday when I go into work at the crack of 9:30 in the morning. Lathes don't work before 9:30, as I told my wife. I said there's a law against it. Right. I'm going to have a little bit of fun, because you've got Gary coming over in the summer. Gary Banks. Gary is my mentor. He will mention me quite a lot. I do apologise. He's just jealous, really. Right, I'm going to be roughing gouge because I've got it in the handle, so I'm going to rough out with a bowl gouge, which isn't what I would normally do. Actually, I'll rough out with a skew. So we're going to rough out with a skew. This is a 1/2 inch roll edge skew. Take it down to the diameter. V cut into there. Look at the wheel. Let's give it some really crappy pines. Let's give it some volume. The skew will work both ways. You haven't missed anything, sir. Apart from I gave everybody €10. Right. So like I said, my name is all Gary Banks. Now, interesting about Gary, we'll see. When Gary turns up, he'll use the 1/2 inch, the 1/2 inch skew as he calls it. I call it my 1/2 inch multi-purpose tool. Right. And I'm going to show you the difference between me turning and Gary turning, okay? So I'm going to turn a bead with my multi-purpose tool. Okay, so you've got a good camera angle on this, you're going to turn a very quick bead. There. So there's a bead. Okay, at full speed. 2 cuts down that side, 2 cuts down that side, 1 over there, 1 over there. 6 cuts. Okay, I'll show you that one again. There. Oh, extra cut there, I'm just wasting money. There's one. There. So there's my bead again. Okay? Now people say, you do that 1 pass down there, 1 pass down there. That's the right amount of cuts. If I'm drawing a curve, I want to draw it in one sweep. I don't want to do it in little sections. So it's much easier to do it right than do it wrong. It's much more difficult to learn how to do it right than it is to learn how to do it wrong, because both, that's what we do. So that was me. That was the lead Thorne. That's a 10mm one. Okay? Now this is Gary using this tool. So he uses a 1/2 inch, and this is him. This isn't me. Alright? Remember, this isn't me. This is Gary. Here we go. Oh, so far so good. So far so good. Come on, Gary, you can do this, Gary. You can do this. Oh. Right. Come on, Gary, you can do this. Ready? Oh. Come on, Gary, you can do this. Right. Come on, Gary. Concentrate. Concentrate. Right. So why am I showing you that? Because Gary's rubbish. He's not. What I'm showing to you, I'm not showing, look how clever I am. I'm showing you that I, just about over a number of years of turning, understand how a tool works. And if you understand how a tool works, you can make it not work on purpose. And if you can make it not work on purpose, you can then avoid it not working. Does that make sense? Because I know how this tool digs in, I know what I shouldn't be doing. Okay? Because what I shouldn't be doing when I'm using a skew, what I should be doing is I should be moving my body around like that, I should be moving my body around like that and doing it. What I shouldn't be doing is coming around here and stopping and dropping it in like that. Because that causes the digging. Okay? Now what's interesting is when you understand how it works with the skew, you get to that point where your body goes, don't do it, Les, don't, and I'm there going, I want to do it because
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye.